Okay, ground stopped at 0630 for how long?
10 days.
So the airport's totally closed?
Well, chaos overnight after the FAA announced the sudden shutdown of the El Paso International Airport's airspace for 10 days, sending pilots and passengers reeling to figure out what was happening. But then a sudden reversal. The shutdown rolled back, with the transportation secretary saying cartel drones caused that closure. All of that happening as El Paso's mayor says they were left in the dark.
I want to be very, very clear that this should have never happened.
Well, drones used by cartels has been an ongoing problem along the border, but the AP is now reporting that a new laser was used by the government to bring down those cartel drones. And last-minute concerns over commercial flights in the area sparked the shutdown. Let's get out to NewsNation's Nichole Berlie, who is live in Texas with the very latest on all of this.
Yeah, hey, Nichole, as you mentioned there, this big closure stemmed from the Pentagon's plans to actually test out a laser that they would be using to take out Mexican drug cartel drones at the southern border or in other places. That's according to the Associated Press. So the Pentagon apparently wanted to test out this laser despite having a meeting slated for later this month to discuss the issue. So here's what happened. Late last night, the Federal Aviation Administration issued a temporary flight restriction that would have halted all flights to and from El Paso International Airport for 10 days. They cited, quote, special security reasons. Now, the order covered commercial, cargo, and general aviation flights and extended over roughly a 10 nautical mile radius around the airport. But just hours later, federal officials reversed course, reopening the airport, lifting that closure early. In a post on X, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy saying in part, quote, the FAA and DOW acted swiftly to address a cartel drone incursion. The threat has been neutralized and there is no danger to commercial travel in the region. Meantime, the mayor of El Paso says they were not alerted of the flight restrictions that led to the closure of their airport, saying it was all unnecessary. Take a listen.
This should have never happened. You cannot restrict airspace over a major city without coordinating with the city. That failure to communicate is unacceptable. There's probably been drones ever since they've been started flying in this community. So that's not nothing new. So a drone shutting down our airspace, we've got to get better than this.
Now, in response to the mayor's criticism, the White House telling NewsNation, quote, the Trump administration will always act swiftly to safeguard America's national security. The FAA closed El Paso airspace in response to a cartel drone threat and swiftly lifted the airspace closure after the threat was neutralized. Now, the head of the TSA actually just told Representative Tony Gonzalez during testimony that they were not alerted to the closure. The agency did not know about the airspace closure until after it happened. Now, another interesting piece here, Nichole, Fort Bliss, leaders there also were not alerted of this closure. Of course, Fort Bliss is that military installation that's in the El Paso area. So definitely some wires were not crossed there. Instead, they were left separate and were not informed of what was going on, Nichole.
And Ali, you have been reporting on these drones at the border for years. How sophisticated are they? What more do we know?
Yeah, they're only increasing in their capabilities and their sophistication, and they're actually weaponizing their drones as well. We've been reporting on this for months, for years here at NewsNation. So the criminal cartels are actually strapping bombs onto drones, and they use them against rival cartels. This is happening mostly on the other side of the border. The drones they're using, they're even bigger than those little ones that you or I would use as well. At one point, they were using French agricultural drones to carry heavier loads like drugs or, yes, explosives. Now, the cartels are also reportedly using devices to interrupt or scramble devices on the U.S. side that are tracking the criminal organization's movements. And we're not talking about just a handful here. We're talking about a lot of drones, Nichole, because a top general actually testified to the Senate last year that they're seeing 1,000 drone incursions from the Mexican cartels each and every month down here at the southern border. We're not talking about one or two. He said 1,000 a month, Nichole.
All right, Nichole Berlie live for us there in Texas. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.